Alright guys, welcome to America 2.0 Documentaries. As always, you decide, folks. Thank you. Ice Wall documentary, and I wanted to start off by showing you guys some information that I found on this actual event, situation, object, planetary difference from the ball, any number of things you want to call it. And the way that this documentary is going to work is I'm going to show you this information. What I do through my regular America 2.0 page is showing you the paperwork, basically. And then I got some videos on it. And then from the videos, I'm going to show you the images of what I found online. If you notice on this one, the shape of this and is the outline of what we know as Antarctica. So basically, when they show us the 3D CGI of the Earth as a ball, which it isn't, because in space there is no up, there is no down, there is no left, there is no right. Therefore, a perfect sphere in and of itself is an absolute lunacy of fabricated reality. It could be a pear, it could be any number of shapes, could be a glob of atmosphere wiggling through. I mean, it could be any number of things, but the idea that it's a ball is absolutely lunacy. Anyways, I want to show you this because this middle picture here is the closest thing we have to an actual picture. And as you can see, they've went ahead and they put all the major cities in Antarctica, or the cities that are around the ice wall, quote unquote, on this map. I've shown this map several times before, but I want to show you this a little bit more up close. And I wanted to get to what this information speaks about, because I tried to do this earlier, and oddly enough, I was shut down for it. So I had to redo everything, and I'm almost certain my original Movie Maker file is almost garbage, and I have to redo it. So that'll take me forever, and it's almost about 60 minutes, which would make a very good documentary. So this is on the ice wall. It's on the Flat Earth Wiki. So I wanted to bring this to you because this is the only one that actually looks like it was actually presented well. Now they're going to claim that the ice wall was discovered. It was not discovered. It has been around since the formation of what we know as the planet. Its circumference and figures are 24,900 miles in diameter of the known world. The area which the light of the sun affects, and the shelf of the ice is several hundred meters thick. Along the edge of our local area exists a massive 150-foot wall, the 150-foot ice wall on the coast of Antarctica. And oddly enough, what they've done, ladies and gentlemen, is they've taken the shape of Antarctica and they condensed it down to basically this shape here in the middle. And this is the shape of what it actually is, and all they did was took all that area and they condensed it into an actual landmass, which it is not. It's actually open like this, or supposed to be. The water's over here, and the ice wall is, further out. Now, from what I understand, the ice wall does have some lakes, some valleys, some peaks, some higher parts. And it does have some green areas as well, further away. So I just wanted to kind of bring this to you to show you. And the way that this is going to work, and I've said this already, but I'm going to show you the information here. And then I'm going to show you a video of compiled videos I've found, give you the generalness of it, and then I have pictures for you at the end. So everybody knows or at least if you're familiar with this, knows that there are several explorers associated with pretty much everything. In one of the videos, it claims that the ice wall was actually in a San Francisco newspaper as being discovered in like 1896. So, and if you look into those older newspapers, they'll actually show you this. But all that information has been hidden from us and everything else, and I'll show you that in the end in the video. And it is a little bit staticky toward the end, but you'll still be able to hear my voice and understand what I'm saying. So anyways, this is claiming that a British naval officer by the name of Sir James Clark Ross actually was the first one in modern history, quote-unquote modern history, to actually discover that this ice wall probably went all the way around. So he was on an expedition voyage and sailed around the ice wall for a number of months in circumnavigation between pit stops at the Cape of Good Hope and his polar expedition. He went next several years of his life circumnavigating the southern coast vainly in search of the South Sea Passage to the other side. From what I understand, he found a 150-foot wall of ice, and he basically says that the ice extends as far as you can travel, and basically he couldn't go beyond it, but we know that helicopters and things routinely do. But unfortunately, today, when you go to the ice wall, basically there is a no-fly zone, no-sail zone, etc., which basically restricts your mode of travel if you're not with government or basically a sanctioned organization that has the rights to be there. I'm not going to bore you with the formation because it was formed when the planet was formed. I mean, it recedes, it comes back, it recedes, it comes back. The idea that anybody is going to have the ultimate information is null and void. It does seem to have a Transantarctic mountain ranges of 11,500 feet. The weight of the ice wall are so enormous that they've literally passed land 2/3 of a mile, 1 kilometer into the earth. I don't know where they're going with that, but you can go through this and find out some very good information here. And it gives you information. It says, you know, that they've actually done statistical analysis of this, and it says that one ice shelf floating in front ice at a frequency of 44% based on the current manned exploration of Antarctica. They're basically going about this and talking how Antarctica is the ice wall and how one is the other, and how basically when we're showing the CGI of Antarctica, they're actually routinely discussing the outline, if you will, of the actual perimeter of this ice wall. Now, remember, when they show us that, it's in the shape of this yellow line basically here, which is roughly the shape of Antarctica when they show it to us on the CGI ball. And so there's a source on this, Dewey DJED, 1983, Antarctica, Glaciological and Geophysical Folio, Scott Polar Research Institute, University of Cambridge, and there's actually an ISBN number associated with this. So somebody or another had published it, and this is the information that followed. So I wanted to show you this, and I wanted to give you the idea that this is actually real, and that this thing actually goes all the way around the actual Earth. Lots of people have said it. In the videos, I have one of Neil Armstrong basically hinting toward the edge that you can't go any further. I have several videos that actually go into this, and I have the pictures of the different areas of the world. They show this ice wall. And that's what I tried to create here with this image, but I couldn't find enough images to make a total circle, to put this in the middle, so I had to kind of go with what I was given, which it came out pretty good. So I'm quite happy with my stuff, and I'm quite happy with this. You're going to very much enjoy this video. I apologize for when the video does break up a little bit on the second part where I am talking at the end, but there is pictures after that, so you'll be able to see that and everything else. This is a great video. I'm very happy to bring this to you. People have been asking me for a long time when I was going to do a documentary on the ice wall. And to be honest, I've had more important videos to do, but it does seem like that this is a very big deal. The earliest account of this is 1800s, and people have been exploring this ever since. You'll find out from this documentary that this is what Antarctica is: a giant sheet of ice, a wall of ice that does go and does exist on the outer perimeter of the land masses. Now, I know I'm using a CGI in the middle, but the powers that be, ladies and gentlemen, have yet to actually acknowledge that, this actually exists. But I've shown this image before, and there's a very famous yacht race, which basically this yellow zigzag line goes through, and what I want to show you, ladies and gentlemen, from this is that the ice wall is real. It does go all the way around, or at least mostly all the way around from what we can tell. Various sources I have will go into it indefinitely. I even have Neil Armstrong talking about it in a playful manner, such as he can't really go into it much, but there's a lot of that going on, and I wanted to bring that to you to show you what this really is. I did look up images of the ice wall online. This is what I found. I typed in, various corners of the world, ice wall in South America, ice wall, of Africa, and various things of that sort. And it's my understanding that they don't want to release the actual images of what it actually looks like from, what is it, like 200-300 miles from the coast in different places. South America, you can see Rothera is supposed to be an actual base off of Antarctica. And oddly enough, if you do look into it and everything, it's supposed to be right off the tip of Brazil, when everybody says, oh no, it's in Antarctica. Well, then why is it off the tip of Brazil? All these places on the map, ladies and gentlemen, these are supposed to be real places you can call up, and most of it at least get an invite to. These are like Arctic bases, small little cities out in the wilderness, lots of different places. I've shown this before, but I wanted to do a few more videos before I put up my video on the universe has no save center, or spot where it can save all the data. So that's why we experience things 100 different ways, even though we all see the same thing, and we all process things a little bit different, because there is no universal save point where everything can upload and basically be refracted, and that there is no universal computer that feeds every string of data or stream of data back in an original form, and it's all kind of just scattered, and what we receive, we receive. So I wanted to really get into this because this is actually quite important. I want to actually take a tour, hopefully of different parts of the world, and go from the tip of Africa out, go from the tip of South America out, looks like Iceland out, and other areas are the closest. And it does look like you can actually visit Ruska or Russian Kayak, Tele, and other places. Now, different maps might have different words for these. And, you know, you might want to have a head of state or something definitely sponsor this. But if you get into that, and, you know, you might not come back alive, so I wouldn't quite recommend that. But I wanted to bring this to you because for the most part, I do believe this is true. However, there's always well, what's beyond the ice wall, you know? So that's another curious way of looking at it. And let me get into the videos to show you more on this. Alright, this video I'm going to start in at about 48 seconds in. Neil Armstrong talks about the edge of the flat earth. The guy with the gray hair is Neil Armstrong. This is by Immortal Souls. And I just wanted to bring this to you because I wanted to actually give you good clues that these people who have done or supposedly done these major events have already been briefed on all this. So when they leak it to us, you know, we should probably do a little bit of listening. So he just gives a subtle hint, so I'll explain it in a second. Just be prepared for it.
Slowly increasing the boundaries of knowledge and knowing more and more and more and feel comfortable inside there, but at the edges, it's always going to be a challenge. Absolutely.
Did you hear that? At the edges, it's always going to be a challenge.
And to those edges, your first flight, one of your first flights in your B-20...
Hang on. Here it goes. I apologize if it's loud.
The history of humanity has been, you know, slowly increasing the boundaries of knowledge and knowing more and more and more and feel comfortable inside there, but at the edges, it's always going to be a challenge. Absolutely.
Okay, I'll do that one more time so that you understand, because this is very important. And I'll do it at about 52 seconds in.
Knowing more and more and more and feel comfortable inside there, but at the edges, it's always going to be a challenge.
Absolutely.
And they just basically
to those edges, your first flight, one of your first flights in your B-20...
I apologize if it's loud.
The history of humanity has been, you know, slowly increasing the boundaries of knowledge and knowing more and more and more and feel comfortable inside there, but at the edges, it's always going to be a challenge. Absolutely.
Alright, you guys get the idea on that. So, he just basically said that we are inside a container of some sort or another, and from that, basically from that area, we are inside something, and that there are edges preventing something. So Neil Armstrong does kind of drop the hint there that, okay, we are, to some degree or another, you know, inside something we can't get out. And he does talk about the images, or the edges, and it was kind of an ice wall drop. I completely believe that. There's going to be some people who don't like the fact that I lined this image up where some of the water, you know, is outside of where the ice is and stuff, where the images don't quite line up. Well, they're individual images I lined up on a plane, so there's not much I can do about that. But it is a nice show for this. So now I'll show another video that drops some hints. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is actually by by Chippy the Chipmunk. 2016 Flat Earth, in quotes, another brick in the ice wall. on Google Earth, ladies and gentlemen, there seems to be a very large indicator of basically how they've overstretched what actually exists where, and how basically this relates to flat Earth, and probably where the actual ice wall would start if they were to show an actual map of an Earth rather than the globe as presented by the globalists, who are basically ruining this world. So this is a real situation here, ladies and gentlemen. This is not conspiracy or conjecture. And this line goes all the way through how they basically took everything and stretched it out. And everybody thinks that basically this line is where they took everything and they stretch it. And this guy uses polar mapping from a variety of sources to show you that this thing is actually showing you where the ice wall actually starts and how they actually overstretch the images. He goes into an NSF project called IceCube, and this is a different topic altogether, but I wanted to show you that clip there because it actually goes into this, and it basically says, you know, how everything is proving itself to be, and how there is an actual ice wall going around, but they continue to show us, you know, the globe with Antarctica there. Well, he actually believes that the shape of Antarctica is actually the shape of the water around the land masses, where the actual ice shelf or ice wall actually starts. And if you look at the image here, let me get to my computer here. Okay, this is supposed to be their version of Antarctica, and what it looks like. This is how they can superimpose the image and make everybody believe this. And if you look here, it's a rough line here to show that, and yes, you are looking at the middle image here, that the shape of Antarctica, ladies and gentlemen, is the actual shape of the water that is actually allowed to be around or is around the land masses. And they basically just take that and say, oh yes, we know what that is. That is the shape of our South Pole. Well, no, that's actually, going back, the actual shape of all the water around the land masses before the ice wall, ice shelf, whatever you want to call it, the ice shelf that goes all the way around, ice wall, etc., that goes all the way around actually starts. And that's another way they're dubbing this left and right, ladies and gentlemen, because they're making you go through 12 years of indoctrination just to find out that, you know, for the most part, they're actually teaching you an absolute shitfest version of history. And then when all these scientists are actually coming out with all this new science and everything, in terms of the way that we're taught to think and are programmed to believe in stuff, when they come out and they say, hey guys, I'm trying to look at something here. Nope. Okay. Anyways, that's not the video. Okay. But anyways, related to the scientists and everything, when they actually come out, ladies and gentlemen, and they say, hey, you know, the science that you gave us isn't exact, because, you know, the geography is different, and, you know, the math isn't lining up with this equation for this principle of electromagnetism or this principle of space and everything else. You know, that's why all these scientists there for a while were all disappearing, because they were all basically coming out and saying, hey, you know, NASA, U.S. Geological Society, you know, German government, and all the others, you know, how come everything you basically told us is a flat-out lie? Well, the reality is because that's what they're here to sell you. And I love this ending here, because this is It's a little bit vulgar, so I apologize, but I want to show you this because I think it's worth actually going through because he makes a good point. Let's see here. Is this the one? Trying to think. No, this is not the one. Okay, it's another one coming that there's an actual point at the end and everything. So I just want to show you this. So I'm not done yet. Hang on, I still got another probably good 20 minutes of material. Alright, my next video I wanted to show you guys. It's an open source project for deconstructing that Antarctica is not just an island of ice sitting out somewhere and that it is something way more different than what they're telling us. It is the ice wall all around us. And I don't want to take too much from this guy's video, so I will show it in 2 or 3 different parts. There are specific parts of which I want to show you. And this one I think is the best of the bunch. I'm just going to go a little bit into some history. I think it's about 1896 is when they start seeing for the first time in modern history, quote unquote, that this ice shelf does go all the way around, and that if you do park a boat out there, you know, freighter, etc., and you do have some climbing gear, you can, you know, go on the ice and, you know, explore a little bit. What you actually come to at the end, like if you were to go to, I don't know, what is this here, Mirage? If you were to go to Mirage and walk all the way to the end of where Mirage is, do you hit the, you know, the dome? I don't know. Do you hit the start of another ice wall that leads into another open area with land? You know, I don't know. It's all, you know, kind of sketchy as to where this, you know, ends and where it begins and how much we take from what we need to know. But I wanted to show you this because it's actually quite good. And I like this video very much, and if you got time to go through it all the way is really a great thing. This is called Deconstructing the Continent Known as Antarctica, Lofty Ice Wall, reported in 1898, FEA 82, The Flat Earth Addict. One of the things I want to go into right here, let's see here, is there's a page he found from San Francisco, September 11, 1898, page 21, image 21. And this was from a newspaper in 1898, and this guy actually tells you to go through all these older newspaper clippings for all these discoveries and things, and how our governments and everyone else have decided basically to hide all these historical references because they don't want us to know, hey, you know, what we're being told is absolute junk. And he goes into this discovery, and I want to show you this. This is the best thing that I can show you that was actually in written form about the ice wall, published in a San Francisco newspaper in 1898, and this would never be reported today due to all the various, you know, situations where, you know, the censorship and the PR is through the roof.
1898. This is the front page. But now I'm going to narrate a paragraph, 2/3 into the story at the lower bottom left-hand corner. It reads as follows. In 1841, Sir James Ross first sighted the vast ice fields which he called Victoria Land. He made the best of his way around a small bit of the coast, saw and named Mount Ibrus, a volcano 12,000 feet in height, Mount Terror and many other points, but his passage to the interior was barred by a lofty ice wall which seemed to prohibit all attacks upon it. Mr. Borchgrevink, who was the first man to land there since the remote days, regards this barrier with less diffidence. His appliances which enable him to storm it, and when once atop he hopes to find a vast tableland of snow, over which he and his men, his dogs and his sledges will make their way.
And that's basically that, folks. And it's basically a giant situation where, he goes into this and he talks about it and everything. And for some reason or another, he just leaves like 10 minutes of this almost silent so you can actually read through this. But it's not something that I want to let you read through. You can read through this on your own time and on your own personal time. It talks about how they basically hid the South Pole, and it goes into all this and how this is like the first modern day discovery of the giant ice wall, and how it's absolutely the opposite of what we're being told that's in the Antarctic. Going back to the Neil Armstrong video, ladies and gentlemen, it actually shows a very strong message here. This is not the one I wanted to show you. I'll get to that one in a minute. But it basically quotes the Bible, Psalm 74:17. Thou hast made all the borders of the earth. And basically it says that there are borders and, God has made it. So going back for that, we can find a very good reference to what this is and what this isn't. And, when I play this, Psalm 74:17, and then it basically says,
There's no way out.
There's no way out, folks.
There's no way out.
The test.
And that's the situation there. That's just plain and simple. Now, there's a reason for why this is so. And there's a reason why Earth is not a normal object in space like the other part of the cosmos, etc. And going back to the early days of Copernicus, ladies and gentlemen, you would actually find out, if you know anything about the microwave fields and the map of the universe, that it actually places our actual solar system, ladies and gentlemen. I can't make this up. Look into it, because this will be one of my future videos. In a future video, I'm going to go into I forget which Copernicus theory it is, and there's a whole documentary on this I was watching. Using microwave technology, ladies and gentlemen, technology we received, from our understanding of the laws of the universe, etc. We've actually mapped what we believe to be our universe, and it actually shows that not only is our solar system the center point, it actually shows, oddly enough, and I can't make this up, folks, you need to look into this, that Earth is supposed to be the center of the universe. And this is what our mathematical and scientific geniuses at MIT and all the other groups, even though they're all in league with all the groups we can name, have actually come up with, is that, that in the great universe that we're in, for some reason or another, Earth is, or at least supposedly is, the center of the universe. And our technology proves what our Bible has said, and what holy books have said, and what earlier man has said. And our technology just keeps reproving it. And so that's why it becomes more and more apparent that Earth is not just a floating body, that in fact, for some reason or another, we are actually, to some degree or another, special. Now, it could just be coincidence or not. But I like to think that it is not only not coincidence that we are here for a higher purpose, but I also believe that we are not the indigenous species on this planet, and that we are actually invaders, so to speak, if you will think of like a virus or a cancer, if you will, that kind of took over the top layer of this planet. But if you want to call it a planet, you can call it a planet, call it whatever word you want to use, plane, etc. And for some reason or another, we're allowed, at least quote unquote allowed, to occupy this area. And I think that someone in the larger realm of things lost a bet and said, all right, we want this group of beings to inhabit this area in the center. Well, why? And then, there was some discussion or another as to the why factors. But I'm going to show you the ending part of that video real quick, and I'm going to sum up what I actually believe and what my science background has actually taught me, and how I almost do believe that this is true. I mean, if you look at thermal imaging of anything major, including ice, you see that regardless if you're talking a snowball or anything of this nature, you see that there is something with a general piece of ice, whereas it's more melted toward the middle and more hard and more liquid toward the middle, and then more harder as you go toward the frame of it. And that's what we're actually seeing here. All right, here's the speech about basically how we're all being lied to. And I think, without the swearing, I think this would be an even better speech. This comes from the 2016 Flat Earth, Another Brick in the Ice Wall video. So I wanted to play this for you. This is just the middle, or the near end of it.
What difference does it make if it's a globe or if it's flat? They're stealing your money and showing you cartoons and CGI while they steal your money.
Wouldn't that make a difference if it was a globe or if it was flat? Because they keep showing you cartoons of a globe. They show you CGI of a globe. They show you Hollywood trickery of a globe. They're stealing your fucking money. If it's flat, that begs the question, hey, what the hell have you been showing us this ball for all this time? What have you been doing with our money? Did you guys go to space? Did you guys just make this shit up and stuck us on a cartoon ball? They stole your mind. They stole my mind. They know what you believe is bullshit. They basically stole our minds and enslaved us by showing us a picture of a ball. So here's what you live on, it's a ball.
And that last part was what I wanted to show you, is that basically, that's what it is. That's what it comes down to, is they basically, faked our entire existence. We now live here almost as slaves of our own mind, and, every day we wake up, we're in an engineered system where nothing can happen outside of their existence. and their real existence, they don't even want to show us because we, for some reason or another, ladies and gentlemen, are in some kind of absolute Truman Show that they can control the rules and the flow of information, even hype up some substances that they can toss us in a confined space for, and it's all a giant lie, including the fact that I do believe that there is an ice wall. I still can't wrap my head around the fact that it would go all the way around the Earth and that somehow or another it would stop. The only thing that I can really consider is that, okay, one, let's say that this is real. Let's say their ball theory is actually real, which it isn't. It is not. Here's why the ball doesn't hold up, ladies and gentlemen. In space, there is no up, there is no down, there is no left, there is no right. There is nothing to give form. Therefore, the ball, there is no ball. Okay, even if it's an egg, a pear, any number of other shapes, it's probably just a blob that moves in some kind of gel state where the space, starts, and we view that as a vacuum. No, it's not a vacuum. It's probably some kind of a gel, some kind of a watery fluid that it's all held up into, and if that fluid didn't exist, it would all basically fall apart. Now, do I believe that? I don't know so much, but I know it's not a vacuum because if it was a vacuum, the atmosphere would be sucked out. Plus, there's nothing to pressurize the vacuum, therefore it cannot be a vacuum, unless the universe pressurizes itself, and that's one hell of a trick coming from something that we don't even know, So, again, I don't think it's a vacuum, even a near vacuum, because the atmospheres of all the objects we see would look like what we claim the moon looks like. And there is something above us allowing us to breathe and, go to school, come home, go to work, come home, play ball and everything else. And if it was an actual vacuum, I'll get back to the ice wall in a minute. If it was an actual vacuum, the atmosphere would be gone, there wouldn't be life, and there would be nothing. So that's how you know that it's not a vacuum, or at least a near vacuum. And yes, there is levels of density where it would allow the pressure different varieties and varieties and volumes and various forms to where it would kind of have, not that great of an effect. Fine, I'll go with that. Even though that's not what I believe. I believe it's some kind of gel. It's some kind of a watery fluid. I believe, very honestly, it's probably something very similar to amniotic fluid. I mean, if we're born into it, then that's probably what our planet's floating in right now. Some kind of a gel like that. Anyways, going back to the ice wall before I get too sidetracked. I do believe that there is an ice wall, and the way I believe it to actually exist is that the sun basically hits the center of where the land masses are, and so it warms that area specifically. The outer regions don't get it so much, so different times of year, the ice does recede and grow back a little bit here and there. Do I know whether or not the Antarctic or ice walls, for that matter, are receding or growing? No, I don't. I think there's like a 5 or 25,000 year cycle where it all becomes ice wall, and then it does not. It all becomes an ice wall, and then it does not. Basically, it comes together, and it falls apart, comes together, falls apart. And, somebody said, oh, well, what about the tectonic plates and stuff? And I said, well, the tectonic plates and stuff are really nice. We do know we do get earthquakes, and we do believe that it is from the tectonic plates moving and everything. But I need to do more research before I go into how theory of what we've been told relates to application of what actually exists. I do believe the general premises for what we've been told, for the most part, do logically exist. I do believe that for the most part, we have been, at some point or another, told at least partial truths. But I believe the level of education, the level of indoctrination is specific, so that we come out just droned and, ready to obey the system as it exists. And so this is my view, and thank you guys. Alright, as you know, this is a map view of the flat Earth that was shown at one point or another, but due to censorship taken down. Here's a more theological approach where the sun is actually showing here, and if you notice where the sun doesn't shine, the ice starts. Here's the map I showed in the middle, and the reverse of Antarctica. Here's the map as we know it from a space view. Looks pretty good. I just wish, NASA and them would show a better one. Here's a good one I got from a math site. And the rest of these are just going to be general photos of the actual ice shelf or ice wall. And some of these are not the best, but most of these are off the coast of major land masses, and this wall goes supposedly all around the world. And this is remnants of where the sun's light does not actually hit. So this is from Getty Images, and I found quite a few of these. I could have done 100 photos, but since they didn't actually have geo coordinates on them, I decided to just list them. I was going to show, put various titles like this is off the coast of Brazil, this is off the coast of Greenland, or stuff like that. But I just wanted to just let you see that there are hundreds of these photos, and they're going to say, oh my God, it's all of Antarctica. No, it's not. It really is not. So this ice wall was discovered a long time ago. Thanks for watching, guys. God bless everything else. And as always, you decide. Thank you. For the cities that are around the ice wall, quote unquote, on this map, I've shown this map several times before, but I wanted to show you this a little bit more up close. And I wanted to get to what this information speaks about, because I tried to do this earlier, and oddly enough, I was shut down for it. So I had to redo everything, and I'm almost certain my original Movie Maker file is almost garbage, and I have to redo it. So that'll take me forever, and it's almost about 60 minutes, which would make a very good documentary. So this is on the ice wall. It's on the Flat Earth Wiki. So I wanted to bring this to you because this is the only one that actually looks like it was actually presented well. Now they're going to claim that the ice wall was discovered. It was not discovered. It has been around since the formation of what we know as the planet. Its circumference and figures are 24,900 miles in diameter of the known world. The area which the light of the sun affects, and the shelf of the ice is several hundred meters thick. Along the edge of our local area exists a massive 150-foot wall, the 150-foot ice wall on the coast of Antarctica. And oddly enough, what they've done, ladies and gentlemen, is they've taken the shape of Antarctica and they condensed it down of what we know as Antarctica. So basically, when they show us the 3D CGI of the Earth as a ball, which it isn't, because in space there is no up, there is no down, there is no left, there is no right. Therefore, a perfect sphere in and of itself is an absolute lunacy of fabricated reality. It could be a pear, it could be any number of shapes, could be a glob of atmosphere wiggling through. I mean, it could be any number of things, but the idea that it's a ball is absolutely lunacy. Anyways, I want to show you this because this middle picture here is the closest thing we have to an actual picture. And as you can see, they've went ahead and they put all the major cities in Antarctica. Alright guys, welcome to America 2.0 Documentaries. And always, you decide, folks. Thank you. Ice wall documentary. And I wanted to start off by showing you guys some information that I found on this actual event, situation, object, planetary difference from the ball, any number of things you want to call it. And the way that this documentary is going to work is I'm going to show you this information. The way I do through my regular America 2.0 page is showing you the paperwork, basically. And then I got some videos on it. And then from the videos, I'm going to show you the images of what I found online. If you notice on this one, the shape of this and is the outline to basically this shape here in the middle, and this is the shape of what it actually is, and all they did was took all that area and they condensed it into an actual landmass, which it is not. It's actually open like this, or supposed to be. The water's over here and the ice wall is further out. Now, from what I understand, the ice wall does have some lakes, some valleys, some peaks, some higher parts, and it does have some green areas as well further away. So I just wanted to kind of bring this to you to show you. And the way that this is going to work, and I've said this already, but I'm going to show you the information here, and then I'm going to show you a video of compiled videos I've